This is where music and sports collide. You're listening to Sport Beats with Darrin and Tyler.
Welcome to the inaugural edition of Sport Beats on TSN Radio 1050. It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm joined by Tyler Stewart. Hey, Tyler, where are you at right now?
Greetings, Earthling. I'm talking to you from a beautiful, dusty dirt road in the middle of a farmer's field near my cottage.
Where is your cottage?
Oh, I don't want to give that away. Well, I don't want to be swamped by groupies. Actually, no, I do. It's in the Ottawa area, in the Ottawa Valley.
So you go up there in the summertime with your kids and relax and have fun? Go fishing?
Yes, I do. I try to relax and have some fun, and occasionally I try to do a radio show from a country road.
That's amazing. The power and the amazingness of the internet and the technology we have embraced.
Yes, we're doing this just to try out the new various apps for your phones, and it's so far so good. But I'm very excited about this show, and one of these times I'll actually be in the studio with you, and we can smell each other and talk about sports.
Yikes. Well, the show is called Sport Beats, and the premise of the show is we're going to be interviewing musicians and popular bands and talking to them about their sports heroes, their sporting memories, the teams that they follow. And, Tyler, I find that when you talk to athletes about music and you talk to musicians about sports, they kind of come alive because you can only talk about the record and the tour and the video or the home runs and the field goals and the touchdowns for so long before, your head wants to explode. So I think this is going to be a really fun show. This is going to be fun to do.
Absolutely. Yes, well, you talk to most athletes and they, whether they control the ghetto blaster in the dressing room or they go to see concerts or they play music themselves, music is often a big part of an athlete's life. And, for guys in bands, you can't talk shop all the time. That gets pretty boring. And you can't be chasing girls all the time. You
that never gets boring.
Distract yourself. That doesn't get boring, but I'd say you can't do it all the time, depending on your success rate. Anyway, I digress, Darrin, but, so many guys in bands, and singers and songwriters and stuff are huge sporting fans. You see them at the games, you see them on the sidelines, you see them in the stands, and a lot of guys play too, so, we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Indeed, we are, Tyler. A little bit about ourselves, though. My name is Darrin Pfeiffer. I play drums in a band called Goldfinger, and I've been doing that for about 16 or 17 years now, and we released, maybe 9 or 10 records, been around the world, had a lot of fun, had a lot of success, but the whole time I've loved two things, sports and radio, and the fact that we're doing this show really means a lot to me. It's close to my heart, and so tell people a little bit about what you're all about.
Very similar to yourself, Darrin. I'm obviously a drummer, and I play in the Canadian Rock and Roll Orchestra known as Barenaked Ladies. 20 years now, 14 million records, been around the world as well, have a great time. People probably know I'm a pretty big hockey fan. I play and I coach, and I've supported the national women's hockey team for a number of years, and I love talking about hockey and also other sports as well. So, that's my credentials for this job. Basically, Darrin, I think they've got two drummers, and everyone knows give a drummer a mic and something is going to happen.
Something
on
terrible
this show,
is going to
happen. On Sport Beats, ladies and gentlemen, something terrible might happen. Something amazing might happen. You never know.
Throughout the course of our shows, as time goes on, Tyler, we are going to become naked. I've done radio shows where I've been completely nude. I've done radio shows where I've been tattooed during the radio show.
Wow.
You got to keep it real and keep it fresh.
Absolutely. Even though it's radio, I'm still going to keep on working out. Because naked on the radio, I don't know, I'm still a little bit self-conscious. I'm not sure how that translates. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be in great shape for your ears.
We'll be talking about football, basketball, baseball, of course, a lot of hockey coming up. We're talking a lot of baseball because it's the summertime now. As we get closer to the fall, we'll be incorporating more hockey players, more NFL football players. The NBA doesn't exist anymore, so we'll be talking about that until the lockout ends in 2014. And we'll also be talking about EPL soccer. We'll be also talking about car racing. We'll be talking all kinds of sports. So really nothing is safe. Rugby, cricket, doesn't matter to me. Dominoes, we'll talk whatever you got.
Snooker. We're going to be talking about snooker.
Yeah.
rollerblading,
Marbles.
You name it. Yeah, you know what? The great marbles, International Full Contact Marble League.
Darts.
We'll be covering a lot of that here on Sport Beats.
Right, we got to take a break, though, Tyler. Right around the corner, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking to Mr. Randy Bachman from a little band called Bachman Turner Overdrive, as well as his successes with the Guess Who. We also have assistant coach for the Buffalo Sabres, James Patrick, coming up. We're going to spin a couple tunes from bands that we're digging, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's all going to be done with our
Fun
clothes
with
on.
a capital U, Darrin.
It's all going to be done with our clothes on.
Yes, this time.
At least this time. So we'll take a little break.
Yeah.
We'll come back around the corner with an interview we did with Mr. Randy Bachman from B.T.O. and Guess Who fame. Don't go anywhere, people. It is Sport Beats on TSN Radio.
This is Sport Beats. Connect with the guys via email anytime at sportbeats@tsn.ca or on Twitter at sportbeatstsn. Now, here's Darrin and Tyler.
Welcome back to Sport Beats on TSN Radio. I'm Tyler Stewart from the Barenaked Ladies, talking to you live from a country road near my cottage. I love the internet, ladies and gentlemen. This show, we talk about sports, and we're musicians, and we talk about music with sporting people. What a concept, ladies and gentlemen. Recently, my co-conspirator got a chance to talk to Canadian rock legend Randy Bachman about the return of the Jets to Winnipeg. Oh, there goes the UPS guy. See you, man.
I'm on the phone with musician Randy Bachman. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, man. So the NHL returns to Winnipeg. How does that make you feel as a proud Winnipeg alumni?
Well, I did notice quite a change when it left. The spirit of Winnipeg seemed to have left with it. There was no team to cheer on. There's like no glue there anymore. And now that they put in the new center where the old Eaton store used to be, and I just feel the excitement in the air. I'm looking back to going there, maybe playing their, opening game or party right after the game or something when they get there. And I don't know, are they called the Jets? Do you know that yet?
They are. Officially at the draft, they were called the Jets, although the logo is definitely going to change for obvious merchandising reasons. But, yeah, they're called the Jets for sure, 100%.
Well, that's fabulous. I think the spirit's coming back to Winnipeg. I know they did great in selling the season tickets and stuff. In fact, I was competing with it. Fred Turner and I are playing there, Bachman and Turner, with Paul Rogers, the Bad Company, as our opening act, and our tickets went on sale the same time as the hockey season tickets, and we suffered a little bit, but that's okay. Our concert will do fine.
So, yeah, they sold out in record time. So do you think the Jets are now in Winnipeg to stay? You think that this is it? No more screwing around?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, it might take a while, to get a team together, and I don't know what they're doing with the management and the coach and everything, but the spirit is there, the intent is there, the people are there, the money guy, Mr. Deep Pockets is certainly there.
Mark Chipman, yep.
And I think it's a real incredible little candle lit in Winnipeg, again, because it was snuffed out. The candle is lit. People, good hockey is like, I remember Winnipeg playing hockey in the streets. When we played hockey, there was no indoor rinks. We had to go early if it snowed and shovel off the rink with these big push shovels and then play hockey. Hockey's there in Winnipeg's blood, so I think it's the beginning of a great a new era and dynasty, so to speak.
I'm on the phone with Canadian music legend Randy Bachman. Tell me, Randy, do you have any fond memories going back to the Winnipeg Jets days? Did you go to some games?
I did, and I actually got a signed picture and an actual playing jersey of Timo Solani when he was there. And my brother was a great fan. My brother Gary's still there in Winnipeg, and he was a great fan of the Jets, and we went to games. And it was, at the old Winnipeg Arena, which was the barn, where I played many times with B.T.O. and the Guess Who, and I saw Led Zeppelin there and everything else. You go there to hockey games and everything else. And now it's in this the new MTC Center, MTS Center, and what is it called? MTS?
MTS Center, yeah.
It's the new MTS Center, and I played there a couple of times. It is absolutely fabulous. I mean, every seat is good, and I just think it's going to be a real happening thing. I'm trying to be there for the first game.
Yeah, you have a new record coming out, Bachman and Turner, in stores everywhere on September the 7th, followed by a slew of summer tour dates. Tell me a little bit about the record and what was it like making it. And you're pretty excited, yeah?
Yeah, it was a fun record to make. It was people are calling it the missing album that should have come out in 1977, a few years late, but nevertheless, it's out. We had a lot of fun doing it. We've had great response around the world to Bachman and Turner. We played Sweden and big festival to 40,000 people, and London festival last year to 35,000 people, and all over the States. We're playing this weekend in El Paso at the street fair, and then we're playing Sturgis, South Dakota, the big biker rally, and we're looking forward to the September tour, which is right across Canada with Paul Rogers, the Sheepdogs, a couple of other bands that are co-headlining with us, and we're coming to rock Canada once again.
Well, Bachman and Turner, like I said, in stores and online everywhere. September the 7th, you can check out them online, BachmanandTurner.com. Thanks, Randy. Good luck with the record, and good luck on the road, and go Jets.
Thank you. Go Jets, go.
Hey, Tyler, isn't it funny how exciting Randy was? I've met Randy a few times, and he's always a really nice guy, but when you talked to him about the Jets in Winnipeg, he kind of came to life a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, I think, growing up in Winnipeg, that was what they had, and he's a prairie boy through and through. He's a Wheatfield soldier, original Wheatfield soldier. So, he's got Winnipeg in his blood. He really hasn't lived there, I don't think, in a number of years, but, you can tell that he knows what it means to the city to have NHL hockey back, and how excited they are in his hometown.
Yeah, you can definitely hear that in his voice, and it's going to be exciting to see the Jets come back in. And I'm going to make it a point, Tyler, and maybe if you're free, you can come join me. Maybe we'll make it a point to go to Winnipeg with Randy and go to a game. That would be a cool show. That would be a cool time.
That would be a good Sport Beats. Absolutely. Let's work on that and make that happen. And maybe he'll bring his guitar and, how on his radio show that he's always strumming a guitar while he's talking. Maybe he'll do that during the game, like live rink rock from Randy Bachman.
Yeah, it would be amazing if all three of us were busking outside the arena.
Now we're going pie in the sky, Darrin. But that, you know what? You got to dream big, bro.
Yeah, dream big. Hey, this show is about music, so what I want to do is I want to play a couple tunes for some bands that I'm really digging on, and I want you to share with me some music from some bands that you're really grooving on as well. So let's kick off the show with a band from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, that I fell in love with several years ago when I saw them play. They're called Dustin Jones and the Rising Tide, and they're a four-piece: guitar, drums, stand-up bass, and fiddle. And all they sing about is...
beautiful.
I know, man. Girls and drinking. That's it. Every song's about girls and drinking, or girls drinking.
Two great things that sound great together.
Yeah, and they just really put on a great show live. They tour relentlessly all over Canada, and wherever they go, people just love them, and they come back, and they do very, very well. The record is out on iTunes right now, and again, the name of the band is called Dustin Jones and the Rising Tide, and a song off their new record called Whiskey Will Be Our Son. It's the title track by Dustin Jones and the Rising Tide, a song called Whiskey Will Be Our Son on Sport Beats. TSN Radio.
So line up the whiskey shots, break out the bottle of rum. While we're stuck in this cold, dark mess, the whiskey will be our son. Said the whiskey will be our son. Of these cold and icy waters can freeze a man's soul, make his passion go away. Nothing works better than a warm shot of whiskey to keep these legs moving, make things easier to say. 8 months of winter, always longing for the summer. Take me from this snowy desert and lie me in the sun. There once was a time I'd spend all my days surfing. Now this barroom is my beach and the beer is my ocean. for keeping us inside and all the boys bellied up. Well, the summer lies sleeping, you keep all the boys drinking. So here's to you, from all of us, let the good times carry on. So line up the whiskey shots, break out the bottle of rum. While we're stuck in this cold dark mess, the whiskey will be our son. Said the whiskey will be our son. Line up the whiskey shots, break out the bottle of rum. While we're stuck in this cold dark mess, the whiskey will be our son. Said the whiskey will be our son.
Brand new music out of the Sault Ste. Marie, that is, Ontario, and a band called Dustin Jones and the Rising Tide, and their new single, Whiskey Will Be Our Son. What'd you think of that, Tyler?
Well, that song made me thirsty, Darrin. And I guess really the only thing that quenches that kind of thirst is whiskey. So excuse me.
Or more cowbell.
Or more cowbell, indeed. More fiddle, perhaps. Great, rollicking, fun Canadian music designed for a good time.
Yeah, and like I said, all they do is tour. They just love playing shows. They go to pubs, they go to bars, clubs, they open up for bands, and they do very well on the road. And their song, Whiskey Will Be Our Son, is on the record Whiskey Will Be Our Son, which is available right now on iTunes. So go and check it out. Was that the UPS guy again?
No, that was an older fellow in his car who looks like he's on his way home from a Dustin Jones concert. He's weaving all over the road.
We should remind the listeners that you're actually calling from a dusty road near the Ottawa area.
Indeed, I'm on a I'm on what is this? This is Torbolton Ridge Road, and near my cottage.
You're kind of telling people where you live. Be careful.
You know what? They're gonna, if they come to where I am right now, they'll be surrounded by cows, Darrin. Cows, the UPS guy, and Gramps weaving on the road in his Pontiac.
Amazing. Bill, be careful. Don't get hit by any of the cars or any flying stones from the gravel road.
I got my wits about me out here. Country wits.
Don't want you to lose an eye. So what are you going to turn me on?
It's all fun and games until someone does.
Exactly. What are you going to turn me on to next?
Well, I discovered this band recently out of Australia. They're called the Boat People, and they make a brand of kind of hooky, melodic, and quirky new wave pop, and kind of takes me back a little bit to the 80s, but also it's thoroughly modern in kind of the spirit of Phoenix and maybe bands like the Killers, etc. So like these guys a lot, and here's a great track called Echo Stick Guitars from the Boat People on Sport Beats, TSN Radio.
British dollars, American pounds, so expensive and profound. Get prolific, pass them round. British dollars, American pounds.
Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars.
British dollars, American pounds, so expensive and profound. Get prolific, pass them round. British dollars, American pounds.
Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars. Hey champions, they're violins, hey acoustic guitars.
Meet me at the velodrome. I'll be there in a year or so.
Echo stick guitars by the Boat People on Sport Beats. Darrin, what'd you think of that new wave extravaganza?
I loved it. Very well recorded. Very well mixed, too. Like, there's some cool left-right panning things going on. And I am a big fan, Tyler, of songs that repeat the chorus over and over and over again, 4 times. I mean, Nirvana did it.
They make
the
it
Ramones
easy for
did
you.
it. And it's a tried and true formula for a successful chorus. And when you're singing "Hey Champions," "Hey Violins," "Hey Echo Stick Guitars" 4 times, you're going to remember it the second time around.
Absolutely, it's good for all ages in that respect, like nursery rhymes.
No, that was a great track, man. I loved it for sure.
Tell me something here. You have to explain this because you are a card-carrying Buffalo Sabres fan. Explain that one to me.
Born and raised in Buffalo, New York, I am, Tyler, unfortunately. And all I know is sports.
Oh.
All I know is sports misery. We've lost 4 Super Bowls and 2 Stanley Cups. And it's a very depressing place to live if you're a sports fan, that is. I mean, there's a lot of great people. It's a great city. But if you're a sports fan like me living in Buffalo, it was very, very difficult. But I do love the Sabres, tried and true. I got the tattoo on my leg to prove it. I can't get enough of that team. And I was able to get Mr. James Patrick, ex-Sabre, and now current assistant coach for the Buffalo Sabres, on the phone to talk about what else? The Winnipeg Jets. It's a Winnipeg-themed show here.
Whew, I'm freezing.
Is it December yet in Winnipeg at Portage in Maine? Yeah, so we'll get him on the phone, talk about the Buffalo Sabres and the Jets returning to the city of Winnipeg. Do not go anywhere, people. It is Sport Beats, inaugural edition on TSN Radio 1050.
This is Sport Beats. Connect with the guys via email anytime at sportbeats@tsn.ca or on Twitter at sportbeatstsn.
Welcome back to Sport Beats on TSN Radio 1050. I'm your host, Darrin Pfeiffer, joined by Tyler Stewart of the Barenaked Ladies. I recently had an awesome conversation with James Patrick, assistant coach of the Buffalo Sabres, talking about the Jets' return to Winnipeg. Also going to tell me about some of the tunes he's been cranking in his car. Let's waste no time and get into that conversation, shall we? I'm on the phone now with Mr. James Patrick, assistant coach for the Buffalo Sabres. Hey, James, what's going on?
Not much. I actually just got back to Winnipeg from I was at the draft over the weekend, and then stopped in Buffalo for a couple days and trying to get set up for the summer here.
So talk to me a little bit about the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, you're a Winnipeg guy. I mean, the Jets coming back to the city of Winnipeg, Manitoba, must be something pretty near and dear to your heart. Like, what are your initial thoughts when you heard the news?
Super excited. I was shocked how quick it happened. I know Mark Chipman, and I have a mutual friend who, repeatedly told me over the last 3 or 4 years that Mark is totally confident that at some point that they are going to get an NHL team again, and he's always in discussions with the league. But just with how soon it happened or how quick it happened was shocking, but real exciting at the same time. And I read the Winnipeg papers every day. Obviously, the city is super pumped. Most of my friends couldn't get tickets. They all tried to, but you must have heard how quickly things sold out. But
yeah, record time.
Yeah, being at the draft, still with not an official announcement what the name was going to be when Mark Chipman went up to the podium when they went to make the first pick, and he thanked the NHL, thanked the American Hockey League for their relationship, and then when he actually said, and now I'd like to turn over the reins to our new general manager to make the first selection ever for the new Winnipeg Jets. When that came out of his mouth, I was obviously sitting at our table at Buffalo, but I almost jumped up and wanted to give him a standing ovation. It was so exciting to hear that.
So you were pleased, James, that they chose to go with the Jets name rather than change it to some sort of Manitoba, extravaganza or whatever they were going to call it?
Yeah, you know what? It's so ingrained, and I was 9 years old when the Jets started, and obviously it was heartbreaking when we lost our team. We lost it because I think two reasons. The Canadian dollar had gone out of whack, and the salary structure had gone out of whack. But I still believed at the time there was close to 10 teams that were that didn't have near the fan base, didn't have the loyalty to their team, and they were able to get by. But like most of my fellow Winnipeggers, we felt that this was still an NHL city. So there was always that connection with the Jets. I had heard, I didn't know of it at the time, but I'd heard Anders Hedberg had started a petition amongst ex-players to make sure they kept the name the Jets. So it just, first it was so exciting to have an NHL team back, and even if they went with a different name, it would have caught on, I'm sure. But it was just with the tradition and the history of from the WHA days into Dale Hawerchuk and the early Jets days to Keith Tkachuk some great teams, great players. But
James, let's go back to the WHA days for a minute. I know that there was a lot of Winnipeggers who felt like when the old Jets were absorbed into the NHL, that you guys got ripped off the most because they took Hall away from you, they took Hedberg and Nielsen away from you, and everyone kind of thought that the Jets never got a fair shake. Do you think this time around, once again, there's still that fire burning where people they want to see the Jets get a fair shake and they want to see a winner come back to the city?
Yeah, I think I agree totally. That is definitely the feeling. When the NHL absorbed it, they made it so hard. I mean, they stripped all the players. Each team could protect two teams when the WHA teams joined the NHL. And the other tough thing was that, for all those years, Winnipeg had a couple of years where they were third, fourth overall in the NHL, but they just happened to be in the same division with the Edmonton Oilers.
Dang those guys.
You had to go through them to get out of your division, and that was a 10-year dynasty of Gretzky and Messier and company. So I do think that the city is so excited now to get an Atlanta franchise that is a young franchise but has some real good young core players, and obviously maybe Kane and Bufflin and Bogosian. So just to start with those young players, and I think it's teams can turn around things so much quicker nowadays. So there's definitely a different vibe, but nonetheless, the city is just buzzing.
I'm on the phone now with Mr. James Patrick, assistant coach for the Buffalo Sabres and a proud Winnipegger. Hey, James, what are you cranking right now in your car? What are you listening to right now?
I'm actually listening to satellite radio.
They play music?
Yeah, they do. No, they're just playing Pearl Jam, some off their latest album, which I like. But I got to say, the more you coach, the less time you have for music, which is a sign that you are getting old. But
oh, I know how you feel, James. I'm a drummer, and I don't get a chance to listen to music anymore, except the stuff I play. But the thing is, I think a lot of hockey players, they like to get pumped up before the game. So who controls the boombox in the Sabres room?
You know what? I think last year it was definitely Jordan Leopold. Kind of had some odd taste and a bit on the dance music side. So I mean, he took a lot of ribbing from the players. The coaches would just give it to him when we would be walking through the room, and he'd be almost playing some modern disco, and he would be the guy we'd always blame. But
cranking the Lady Gaga before the games.
Yeah.
That's probably not that far from the truth.
No, exactly. I mean, I've definitely heard that, and again, I definitely feel old, but my tastes were a little more to the classic stuff. I when I used to play, I was into some of the alternative stuff, but I love the Clash. I love Joe Strummer, the Mescaleros, and
well, those are good names right there. That's the kind of music too that. You put London Calling on before a hockey game. I know I'd get pumped up, Darrin.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
totally. My blood would be racing. But I'm sure there's a lot of Europeans and a lot of other guys on the team that are probably like, what the hell is this? They would really literally say to themselves, what the hell is this?
You have to play the latest Eurovision song contest winner with the European guys.
London Calling with a backbeat, with a disco beat. Maybe they'd get it. Hey, James, talk to me really quick about the upcoming Buffalo Sabres 2011-2012 season and how you plan to build on last year's successes. I mean, going into the playoffs, and I think the Buffalo Sabres are well poised with some of the acquisitions, with Robin and a healthy Derek Roy moving into this season. Stakes are high, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there's a really good vibe. Obviously, with Tyler Myers, Tyler Ernest, Nathan Gerby, the young vibe is. I mean, it's a better feeling this year than the previous years. Darrin, if you would, I mean, once you get down to the city, it is a different organization with this new ownership. He wants to shake up the NHL. I mean, he wants to sign every free agent out there. I think he's got his foot in the door, but he wants to make it a destination place. Even in the acquisition of Robin Regier, when Robin was having he had a no trade clause and had to make that decision whether to waive it. He had his private jets fueled up and wanted to fly there that minute and try and convince him that things were different now. So it is exciting. I know the free agent market is extremely thin, but I'm pretty sure we're going to try and do something. So we're even going to add to things, and I do think that our core players, Vanek, Stafford, Roy, Sekera, Miller, Gosted, Tonzo, they are in their prime now. Again, we want to build off of last year. We want to add to it. And with this new ownership, things are really moving forward. So it's definitely very exciting.
Well, it's great that you guys have managed to keep the core of, underpriced players over the years, and you've managed to keep that great, roster of guys that you developed as well. And, over the years, the Drurys and the Brières have come and gone, etc. But I like the fact now that you have an owner who can spend some money, but really you've got a solid base of a team there, especially with Miller in net.
No, exactly. We've been a team that's always have to draft and develop well. Those are still keys because of the salary cap, but with him, if you can add one or two pieces, that's the difference right there. And I think, we're getting a real solid stay-at-home defenseman who can play physical, and we have guys who can skate. Tyler Myers is mobile, and Andre Sekera, and this Marc-Andre Gagnani, who came up and played real well. So we still had puck movers and skaters, but we needed the physical dimension. But it's definitely exciting.
All right, James, listen, I know you're busy. Have fun in Winnipeg. Enjoy your summer, and we'll see you come October at the HSBC Arena, yeah?
Okay, for sure. And Darrin, Tyler, thank you, and look forward to seeing you guys in person.
Always nice to catch up with Mr. James Patrick, assistant coach of the Buffalo Sabres, talking about how excited he is that the Winnipeg Jets are finally coming back to the fine city of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Nice guy, yeah?
Yeah, totally. He's I have a motto, Darrin. Never met a Winnipegger I didn't like. And I'm glad that James Patrick didn't spoil my motto today.
Yeah, a really nice guy, and he's extremely passionate about the city of Winnipeg and about the Buffalo Sabres, and excited about the season coming up. And if you listen to that interview, Tyler, he invited us to come down to HSBC Arena in Buffalo and catch a game with him.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, especially if the chicken wings are on him.
Have you been down to the hot sauce and blue cheese arena?
Of course, man. I've rocked that place. De trois, quatre, cinq. 5 times I've rocked that place.
Have you been down for a hockey game?
Have I been for a hockey game? No, I haven't. I've been when I've been the man providing the excitement. But it's a pretty good building. It's I think the city of Buffalo, when they moved from the Odd over to the HSBC, it was called the Marine Midland Arena back then.
That's right.
It was a big event because the Odd was one of those hallowed barns like Maple Leaf Gardens or the Forum in Montreal that had seen a lot of hockey over the years and seen some glory. It was a big deal when they opened that new place, and it rocks during Sabres games. I know that much.
It does. I mean, really, the city of Buffalo really depends on the Bills and the Sabres because there's really nothing else going on. So I'm looking forward to going down and catching a lot of games, and I'll definitely bring you along, and you and James will go somewhere after the game, and we'll grab a pint and some chicken wings, and we'll talk Buffalo Sabres hockey. But let's get back to the music. Tyler, there's a band that I was so in love with several years ago in 2006, and I shopped them around relentlessly to labels in Europe and the States and everywhere. They're called Crush Luther. They're from Toronto, and I couldn't find a home for them, so I took some advice from our friend Barb Seaton at EMI Publishing, and she said, start a label. Put them out yourself. So I found out about how the grants work here in Canada and Factor and the other things, and I started a label, and I put out 3 of their records since then, and I just love them. It's pop. It's pop straight up. I mean, again, the singer's got this very soulful voice, and they've had some successes and some #1 videos on Much, and I want to turn you on to them.
Awesome. Every band needs a champion, and obviously Crush Luther can thank you, Darrin Pfeiffer, for helping put them on the map.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Every band along the way, or every great artist, had one person that was in there, like in the front lines, throwing the punches. And I love this band, and they're currently right now in the studio writing and recording their 3rd record. So that's very exciting. Here is stuff from Crush Luther off their debut record, which is called Crush Luther, and a song called City Girl. The album is available on iTunes. Crush Luther, City Girl, Sport Beats. TSN Radio 1050.
You stand ground like a warrior, but the way you listen like you never heard anything. And the worst is you hold my hand like nobody I've ever known. But I ain't no city boy. I don't mind how you know me, but the way you like tonight you never stop holding me. And the worst is you use both hands. City girls are supposed to though. So if we're in love, I suppose I'm out of here before I get too close. And if we're in love, I suppose you're the worst city girl I've known. If I'm 1 and 1 and 2 is me and you, the 3's a place I swore I'd never get to. And the worst is you change my mind. I've never been much the nervous kind, but you ain't nervous. It's a fast world where you're from. You speed along, make you run so fast you can't focus on. And the worst is, though I change my mind, the best is I still get all your time. So if we're in love, I suppose I'm out of here before I get too close. And if we're in love, I suppose, oh, you're the worst city girl I've known. So shame on me for getting too close. Shame on you at your bedroom window, and your body's so close to me. I shudder and I dream of the city all along the way. You've been nothing but trouble, oh, but somehow here we are. So if we're in love, I suppose I'm out of here before I get too close. Oh, if we're in love, I suppose you're the worst city girl I've known. You're the worst city girl I've known. You're the worst city girl I've known. Oh, you're the worst city girl I've known.
That is music from the Toronto band called Crush Luther and a song called City Girl off their debut self-titled record available everywhere on iTunes. What'd you think of that, Tyler?
I like that song a lot. That's a good little pop band there that you signed, and it's nice to hear some local music again. You know, Toronto's obviously a vibrant city for music, but it's been a while since I've been out there pounding the pavement like you have, and discovering new bands. So thanks for that. That's great.
Yeah,
Lovely.
You know, man, I just want to help out as many bands as possible. I feel very fortunate that I've lived the life that I've lived and am continue to live, and I want to try to like pay it forward, so to speak, give it back to some of these bands that I find have amazing potential, like Crushed Luther. So when I see a band that completely blow me out of the water and just take my mind away, I feel almost obliged, because now that I have a record label, I feel obliged to like put the record out and use the funding that's available to me and help these artists try to realize their dreams, because I realize mine.
Good on you, mate. Good on you, as they would say down under in Australia, where our last band that I played was from. And now we're going to take a hop, skip, and a jump across a few oceans to France, and a great band called Ernest Saint Laurent. This song, The Moon Is Gone, just totally transfixed me with the delivery of the singer. This lady has a way with words, with syllables, with consonants, and you'll hear that in this song, The Moon Is Gone, by Ernest Saint Laurent on Sport Beats, TSN Radio.
One for the money that got me into trouble, and two for the worry that made me worry double. See, four's for the story that made me who I am. Skip the 3, skip the 5, skip it all. See, 6 is for Harry, who caught me when I fell from 7 little steps I should have never taken. Then 8 little birds went swirling round my head, and 9 little devils took me right to hell. So the moon's gone, it's dark, the sun's flown, no spark, a bit of tone, a crack, the melodies come back. I'll fold a paper ship with all my thoughts in it. I'll send it to the seas, I'll send it to the seas. For the money that got me into trouble, and 2 for the worry that made me worry double, and 4's for the story that made me who I am. Skip the 3, skip the 5. What is 6 for again? 6 is for Harry, who caught me when I fell from 7 little steps I should have never taken. Then 8 little birds went swirling round my head, and 9 little devils took me right to hell. So the moon is gone, it's dark, the sun's flown, no spark, a bit of tone, a crack, the melodies come back. I'll fold a paper ship with all my thoughts in it. I'll send it to the seas, I'll send it to the seas. The moon is gone, it's dark, the sun's flown, no spark, a bit of tone, a crack, the melodies come back. I'll fold a paper ship with all my thoughts in it. I'll send it to the seas, I'll send it to the seas. After 1 for the money that got me into trouble, and 2's for the worry that made me worry double. Now 4's for the story that made me who I am. Skip the 3 and skip the 5. 6 is for, I'll tell you, 6 is for Harry, who caught me when I fell from 7 little steps I should have never taken. Them 8 little birds went swirling round my head, and 9 little devils took me right back to hell.
Yes. The Moon is Gone from Ernest Saint Laurent. And wow, what a beautiful song. Much like the headbutts of Zinedine Zidane, the consonants from this French band pierce your chest, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking sports and music, right, Darrin? I got to keep it real.
Nice reference to the 2006 World Cup final there, by the way. Very well done. And a great song, too. I loved her delivery, her tone, her voice, the great little jazzy number in the background. You know, it's stuff like this, Tyler, when you're hanging out with a friend and you're playing some tunes and sharing some bands that really expand musical catalogs. Because now I love that song so much, The Moon Is Gone by Ernest Saint Laurent, that I'm going to go to iTunes and actually download the whole record and see if I can get into that band. But really, a great pick. You're listening to Sport Beats on TSN Radio 1050. Back in a moment.
This is Sport Beats with Darrin and Tyler.
He walks away, the sun goes down, he takes the day, but I'm grown, and in your way, in this blue shade, my tears dry on their own.
Welcome back, everybody, to the first ever installment of Sport Beats here on TSN Radio 1050. Amy Winehouse, gone too soon. Tears dry on their own. Indeed, we will miss her. What an incredible artist. R.I.P. Amy Winehouse. I'd like to thank Mr. Tyler Stewart, my co-host on Sport Beats, for joining me from a dirt road somewhere in the Ottawa Valley region.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I'm telling you, radio studios have nothing on being surrounded by corn, cows, and dusty old vans driving by.
Yeah. Howdy, neighbor. Hey, UPS truck.
That was pretty eventful. You know what? I'm going to dust myself off, Darrin, and I'm going to get ready for next week's show.
Yeah, next week's show is going to be a lot of fun. We are going to talk to all-star goalie for the Buffalo Sabres, Mr. Ryan Miller. He is an accomplished guitar player, very much into music, a little bit soft-spoken, but that doesn't mean he can't talk music, and we'll have a conversation with him about what he's listening to, what's going on with his guitar playing, and maybe we'll start a band with him. Who knows? I'll play bass, you play drums, he plays guitar.
Well, he'll be the second... Yeah, he'll be the second Ryan Miller in the world of rock and roll because the lead singer of one of my favorite American bands, Guster, his name is Ryan Miller. Can you believe it?
Really? Well, we'll have to get Ryan Miller.
Tractor, Darrin.
Is that a tractor? Let's hear what a tractor sounds like.
That's
going
a tractor. Hey, yep, load of hay. Big John Deere tractor just drove right by me. Wow.
Amazing. Doing a radio
Holy
show
smokes.
from a dirt road in Ottawa. Just incredible. But I appreciate
Nice.
it. Yeah, we'll get Ryan Miller and Ryan Miller on the phone, and we'll see what we can do with that. We also are in conversation with the bass player for a band called 311. They have a new record out called Universal Pulse, and he is a massive NBA fan and a Lakers fan, so we'll talk to him about some basketball, some Lakers, and the lockout that is currently happening in the NBA, so that'll be a lot of fun as well. And we'll also play more tunes, and we're Peanut, that's his name, Peanut. Well, his name's Aaron, but they call him Peanut.
Okay.
Hey, great band, and they're really underrated, and we'll talk to him. And we'll also possibly have Mr. Alan Cross from Ongoing History of Music fame on the show to talk to us about some of the stuff he's listening to as well.
Alan tends to listen to a lot of music, and he knows a lot about it. So we're going to get some info I bet we didn't know if Al shows up next week.
Absolutely. He guy's a walking encyclopedia. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. For Tyler Stewart, my name is Darrin Pfeiffer. Thanks for tuning in to Sport Beats #1 here on TSN Radio 1050. If you want to get a hold of us on Twitter, it's pretty easy, at SportBeatsTSN, or on Facebook. We have pages and groups. Just look us up, do a search. If you want to email us, sportbeats@bellmedia.ca. Tyler, I'll catch you next week, buddy.
Yes, you will, Darrin, especially if you have a big baseball glove.
I don't know what that means. Oh, I know what it means. I'll catch you later. I got it. Took me a second.
Catch you next week.
All right, guys. See you next week. TSN Radio 1050.
We be taking care of business.